remember that you are creating this authentic leadership style of your own. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room. You don't have to be the smartest. You shouldn't be the smartest person in the room. You should always have those support people around you that are also smarter than you. Hello, leaders. Welcome back to the LeadHer Lounge. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about a little thing called imposter syndrome. And if you are anything like me when I was a new leader, you probably feel like you don't know what you're doing and you are the wrong person for the job and you're just kind of faking it until you make it. And I'll tell you right now, you got the job for a reason, so stop doubting yourself. But at the same time, that feeling is so common and it is everywhere. And, you know, even the leaders that you admire the most and the people who really seem like they got their stuff together, they also can suffer from a lack of confidence or this imposter syndrome where they feel like they can't, or not that they can't, it feels like they just shouldn't be doing what they're doing, even though they're already doing it. Like they're not the ones to be doing it for some reason. I don't know why we do this to ourselves, but we're going to talk through some ways that we can kind of overcome this lack of confidence. And we're going to kick off with, I think there's 4 different best practices we're going to share.
Yes. So the first one is progress over perfection. So leadership is not about being flawless. Leadership is about being present for your people, and making mistakes is data that you're going to recollect. Mm-hmm. So in the future, you don't make those mistakes.
Yeah.
They are no disqualifiers. Yes. And that's the most important thing to understand, because how you mentioned earlier, even leaders that have been leaders for 40, 30, 20 years, they feel the imposter syndrome, because you're going to get a new team, you're going to get a new team member, you're going to be in another company, and every time you change and move, you're going to question yourself. Mm-hmm. So you have to understand that it's not about perfection, it's about being present and learning from those mistakes and applying those mistakes.
I love that. And one of the things that I think that we have said and we've heard so many times is that fail forward, fail often type of mentality. And it's okay to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, especially as a new leader, and especially when new things start happening on your team. Like I led for 10 years and then I changed the industry I was leading in, and it was so different. And I did make different mistakes, but I learned so much from the mistakes that I had made, all that data I collected when I was in retail management. Mm-hmm. And it helped me be a better leader. Yes. So I love that. And
if anything, that gives you resilience. Mm-hmm. If you don't make mistakes, if you don't fail, then something bigger is going to happen, because things are going to happen, and then you don't know how you're going to react because you have never confronted this type of situations. So this is the time, and it is always a space to fail and learn and take ownership, which is the most important thing. Apologize if you hurt people when you make those mistakes. That's the thing that we try to avoid as a leader the most. But yes, just like move forward. Mm-hmm. The second one is lead from self-awareness and authenticity.
This goes hand in hand, I think, with like knowing how you're going to handle a situation, because a lot of times as leaders, I think we try to fake what we're doing and act in a way where we saw someone else acting in that way. So we feel like we have to behave in that way too. And if you all saw like Christina Fair's episode, she talked a lot about like that authentic leadership portion, and her episode just really reiterates of like, you can't lead like someone else. You can't lead like anyone else. You have to lead like you. And you have to know, what are my strengths? What am I good at? Who do I need to rely on for support? Build a good support system for yourself. Because again, you're not going to have all the answers. You're not going to know all the things. So you have to be aware of those when you need help and what you're really good at. So otherwise, you're going to be very disingenuous. People aren't going to buy into what you're saying. And you're going to have to keep up this facade that's very tiring over time. Like, I am not a very, like, direct and, like, straightforward person. I have an element of directness to what I do, but I approach people with empathy. But if I were just like, you shouldn't wear that, you shouldn't do that, I would feel so exhausted by forcing myself to behave that way. So you have to find a style that's authentic to you, but it's also emotionally intelligent, and it also doesn't hurt the people around you, right?
Yes.
So you have to behave like an adult.
Yes, and you kind of share that common phrase, which is fake it until you make it, which during our trainings, we have one of our trainings we mentioned about the imposter syndrome and how to like master confidence and all of that. And we changed the word for face it until you make it. Yes. You have to be your authentic self. Because even though you have a big presentation and you are so nervous, it's not that you're faking it and being there and showing that you're comfortable, like what we're doing here. You're facing that fear. You're being there even though you're so afraid to speak in public. You are facing it. So when you start changing even those words as well, like that will help you to understand that imposter syndrome, is something that we all deal with. But right now you're facing this situation, this challenge with that authenticity, which is gonna actually bring that consistency.
Quick pause, leaders. Here's a leadership development resource courtesy of Monarch Coaching.
Every great leader knows growth doesn't happen in isolation. It happens with accountability, support, and the right kind of challenge. That's exactly what our leadership coaching packages are built for. Whether you are an aspiring leader finding your voice, a new leader finding your footing, or an experienced one ready to level up, you don't have to figure it out alone. With Monarch Coaching, you'll gain clarity, confidence, and a coach who helps you stay aligned with the leader you are becoming. Visit the link in our bio to learn more about available packages and use the code LHL10 at checkout to receive 10% of your first leadership coaching package.
Now back to our conversation.
Our third point is communicate with openness, not overexposure. So we love vulnerability.
Yes.
We
do.
We do love sharing our failures and sharing those situations where we didn't when we react poorly. We love sharing those things because we believe that people can benefit from them, because at the end of the day, we shared also like, okay, now I learned, this is the lesson I learned. This is what I realized by doing this. So when you share that with others and you tell your team, hey, like right now I'm struggling a little bit with this new system. So I need my experts to, help me a little bit because I'm struggling a little bit. Or right now I feel overwhelmed. And I need everybody's help. I need everybody's to jump in this project, in this task, or like we all have to grind because there's a lot of things. So it's not that you're always bringing this stress to your team.
Yeah.
Be careful. There's a balance. But you're being real to them, because at the end of the day, you're another team member. Yes, you are the leader, but you're a person with struggles and personal issues. So when you share those little things, people, they're going to jump in and they're going to help you.
Yeah.
So communicate with openness.
Yes, absolutely. And number 4 is to build a support system and a community so that you are feeling more supported. And you can rely on them, because your confidence in your ability to do everything, that's not realistic. So
Yes.
we've talked before about delegating, and you don't necessarily have to delegate everything, but you do have to have people who can do the things that you can't do. So like we were talking about that self-awareness piece, you have to know what you're good at, but you also have to know what you're not that good at. Or maybe someone's like just more experienced in something and you can lean on them and say, hey, can I get your input on this? Like, and for them to be able to support you, because that way it's not that you're leaning on people because you can't do something. You look at the most successful leaders, those are not people who are doing everything by themselves. Every successful leader has a group and people and a team that they are leaning on heavily. And the leaders that you do see that are fumbling and failing a lot without learning, and they're just making mistake after mistake, those are the ones trying to do it by themselves. Those are the ones that don't have any support. So don't be that person, that's like bumbling through because you don't want to ask for help. So being that imposter syndrome can set in because you feel like you have to know everything, and you don't. You just have to know where to find your resources, who to lean on. and you can be confident in the people around you and then in yourself and your abilities as well.
Yes, I like that you talk about like the community and build that community, because yes, they help you when you need, like you have those, we call it opportunities, aka weaknesses, and but also they can tell you you're doing great, and you don't recognize those moments, and they're telling you this is fantastic, you're actually doing so good, or like tell me more, how are you doing this, because you're doing amazing. So they're the ones telling you the great things. So we need that support system as well, because we're good with others, we're good at recognizing other people's talents, and we are good at believing in other people's professions and skills, but we are so hard
on ourselves.
Yes, we are. We definitely are. And we need other good people like us to recognize those beautiful things that we have. So that's why you can't get to the success alone, because you need people to recognize those things. And if you get alone into that point, to let's call it mountain of success, you're gonna be alone, and that is not fun. Like the idea of getting to that point is to share success with people. So bring that community with you.
Yeah, oh, that's so beautiful, and it's so true, because you don't want to be alone in your endeavors. It's just a lonely place to be.
Yeah,
true. I do want to wrap this up by kind of reiterating that with someone who is suffering from imposter syndrome, if you are a leader, there is no specific way that a leader acts or looks necessarily. So remember that you are creating this authentic leadership style of your own. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room. You don't have to be the smartest. You shouldn't be the smartest person in the room. You should always have those support people around you that are also smarter than you. But leadership is going to be like a thumbprint. It's different for everybody, and what you find that works well for someone else might not work well for you. So just know that you are doing the thing. You're doing it, and you're doing a good job at it. So don't sell yourself short. And with that being said, if you got something out of this video, or there's someone in your community or network that you feel like could really benefit from this video, please share this with them. Share the love, share the support that we have. And of course, if you have not already, please subscribe to get more content from us.
Yes, and thank you again to our friends at Velocity in Sterling Heights for this beautiful studio. And we'll see you next week, leaders.
Bye.